Hey, Willie and Pat. Recently, I was watching a YouTube retrospective on the FF13 trilogy. A YouTuber called Brando SP mentioned how a lot of design elements from the trilogy follow game design trends at the time. For example,
Hmm.
13.2 has QTEs after every boss battle to finish them off. Um,
Okay. That
Also, the
seems actually a
outfits
little late for that era.
like Tomb Raider and Mass Effect instantly tell you when the game's released. So my question is, what other examples of game design choices or content can instantly allow someone to fossil date the game?
Stop and pop.
Um, I'm gonna
Stop
say,
and pop gameplay is like viciously 2007 to 2015.
um, I'll go one further and say you can also refine that exact same date range with the walk and talk.
Oh, man. The walk and talk eventually led to the squeeze through.
The loading squeeze, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
The walk and talk of the mid aughts to early 2015 or so is a defining thing that eventually becomes move that bookshelf over and squeeze through, or crawl through this little hole and squeeze through, so that we get from one loading set piece to another. Gears of War, 2K 6, 7, whatever it was, like that's the initial hide the loading screen in this type of game.
It
The loading
it
screen hiding existed, like fucking way before that. I mean, Metroid Prime with the elevators, and literally even Mega Man, the boss hallways in Mega Man are loading screen
yeah,
hiders,
totally. Yeah.
right? But like the walk and talk was one that like got copied a lot.
Um I'm going to go with uh oh god. Well, I had it. I had it right on the tip of my fucking tongue. And it's leaving me. It's leaving me right now. Fuck.
The carbon dating.
Fuck. It's gone.
Ah.
It's gone. I want to say a fucking crafting system, but we're still in that fucking era of every single fucking game needs a goddamn item crafting system.
There's a lot of defining things that are still around, really. But I think
Oh,
something that ended or has a is not as copied anymore is the best answer.
it just came into my mind.
Mm.
Assassin's Creed 1 came out in 2005. Is that it? Is that correct? Regardless,
Yeah.
from Assassin's Creed 1 up until like 3 years ago, every single 2007, every single fucking open world game having 10 to 30 tailing missions.
Tailing, yeah, tailing.
Just the
Tailing.
absolute fucking
Yeah.
worst mission type in every game that has it.
You have lost sight with the target.
Fucking
Warning.
Dragon's Dogma has a fucking tailing mission in it.
Judgment. The first mission in Judgment is a tailing mission.
Oh, Christ. Oh, there's so many in Judgment. I did all of them.
It's the first thing you do.
Terrible. Oh, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever play Assassin's Creed Black Flag? Yes, you did, because you love the boats.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the boat tailing mission?
I mean,
You're tailing a boat through a swamp, and it's like the worst mission that's ever been in an Assassin's Creed game.
It's so bad. It doesn't work. It's because they don't work. The concept of range and zone.
You can't stop a boat in that game, so it makes no sense.
The concept of just danger, range, zone, falling behind, all of it never fucking works. Yeah.
Well, it always like going back as far as Grand Theft Auto 3, the tailing mission has the one problem because of the way they're all implemented is they're implemented with a pure distance calculation, which means that when somebody hits a corner,
Yep.
and you continue walking in the same direction, and they take a 90-degree angle left or right. If
Yep.
you keep walking at the same speed, because of the way the Pythagorean theorem works,
You stay
that triangle
equidistant.
distance is gonna gonna
Yep.
get super close, like right away on
Yep.
the tip of that turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna say tailing missions are like second highest fucking crime behind escort missions and underwater
You're pretty
escort
bad.
missions, for that matter. That's a real fucking bullshit thing that we have now. Yeah. Okay, that's solid. That's solid.
Overpowered detective vision is also another one.
Oh, Eagle Vision.
Detective
Mm.
vision, like, God, like what a cool idea that was immediately like ruining.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is you have to pull it back to the point where, like, I remember when I was playing Arkham, and I was like, "Is there a reason to turn it off?" And it's like, well,
No,
like your
other
own
than
role playing reasons. If you don't want to
if you
always
don't
have
want the
Batman vision on, yeah,
you don't want the game to look like a goddamn visual suit.
that's a bad incentive. That's a bad
Um,
incentive. Audio
one of the things
logs.
one of the things that really jumped out at me about audio logs actually was going through Bioshock 1 and 2 is that the Bioshock 1 and 2 audio logs, they really, really popularized it, but there's something about them that's actually very strange for the audio log phenomenon, which is the audio logs in Bioshock 1 and 2 are tops 60 seconds long.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're actually really, really short. And initially, I thought that was a really good idea because it means that they don't get cut off as often. Except you'll collect literally 8 to 12 of the audio logs from the same guy
Mm-hmm.
in like a zone. And it actually becomes super tedious.
Yeah. I mean, a strong example of the successful evolution of that becomes Spider-Man with the fucking Jonah podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Like that is amazing, but you just need to not have it interrupt every time you spot a crime in progress.
Yeah.
Um. Yep. 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 There you go. Those are pretty defining answers, I'd say. All right, we got one over here. Um, Mega Joe in Pennsylvania says, "Dear Patron and Woolsworth, isn't really a
That's
question, more of a talking point because you talk about how because your talks about how weird the morality can be in the Persona games often reminds me of how that kind of weirdness bleeds into other Atlas properties. The ones I'm most familiar with are Trauma Center. In that the Trauma Team, in Trauma Team, there's a scene where there's a man dying of a disease, and he decides to go on a shooting spree in a mall, and he ends up
wow.
collapsing due to some kind of injury, and the surgeon character who finds him has a big impassioned speech about needing to save his life to the various people who are incredibly mad at the man who tried to murder them.
Obviously.
However, the one that takes the cake was in the very first game, you find out that a doctor, best friend of your healing touch doctor, is actually practicing unauthorized euthanasia on patients who have seemingly terminal conditions. He intends to do the same to his dying sister, but after the main guy gives him a speech about how he's going to save her and how the sister even tells him that she wants to keep fighting, he realizes he was being selfish and closed-minded and to the wants of his patients. Instead of being arrested for first-degree murder of several dying people at the hospital, or at least losing his license in medicine, he's still a supporting cast member for the rest of the game. I found that to be a baffling decision because the game story considers that man as essentially a serial killer performing mercy killings on dying patients without their consent. Yeah.
Everyone's deserving of forgiveness if they say they feel real bad, I guess.
Look, man, that shit's wild, but hard cut to Orochimaru farting around the village while Konohamaru just stares at him. just looking, just stares at him as in a grown ass adult, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I mean, we can go into another spiel of like Japanese stories think forgiveness is easy and free, but like I don't want to do it again. Though that being said, the mass shooter one, doctor's duty is to save their patient regardless of mitigating circumstance, do no harm and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
that one does make sense.
Mm-hmm. Just the idea of them yelling at the people who were just hiding undercover is kind of insane. I haven't played Trauma Team. I couldn't say, but that sounds fucking wild.
Trauma Team is like one of the weirdest games I've ever played because like they're all like anime characters as specific doctors, and the character that does like a colonoscopy looks like Yukiko, and she's all like traditional, like she's in a fucking traditional kimono, and she's doing colonoscopies in the traditional way, and like they're doing a lot to like make like distance it from the fact that you're just shoving a fucking camera hose up people's asses.
There's a Yukiko and a Chie lookalike?
Oh yeah, no, it's a whole.
I saw the Chie girl, but there's a Yukiko as well.
Yeah, hold on. She's on the fucking.
Huh.
She's on the fucking box star. Oh, she doesn't look that much like Yukiko. I guess it's just her outfit. It's like a red kimono. Here you go.
Okay.
Right.
Well then, yeah. All right.
You see
fine.
it. You kind of
sure.
see it, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta do the traditional tube up the ass as my forefathers did," and it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Same artist. Well, that would explain that.
That game is fucking weird.
Again, it's Orochimaru. End of story. Cool. All right. That'll do it.
That'll do it.
It's a normal length podcast.
I'm sure we'll get distracted next week by some bullshit.
Take care, everybody.